hope, ifs, buts and maybes. They're normally the words in a conversation that you have with someone when you're trying to defend Rúben Amorim. I want facts today. Get involved in that comment section and smash that like button to help support the channel. I've not got a clue where to start with this one. My head's all over the place. It's in bits. The head's still pounding after the weekend. Hopefully, you can bring some balance to today's conversation.
Well, I don't know about balance, but what I have to do, I've looked everywhere. I've listened to people over the weekend and I go back. I think Bruno Fernandes' body language on Saturday against Brentford was, what is going on here? I haven't got a clue. The tactical changes throughout the game did not make sense. And when you analyse the players what walked off that pitch, the positions they were in made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Bruno Fernandes said after the City game, we're too open. There's two of us in midfield. It's not working. The players have given up as far as I'm concerned. They don't believe. The body language tells you they don't believe in Rúben Amorim. And I've not found a person over the weekend what says they believe in Rúben Amorim. The only thing going for Rúben Amorim is that they're not his players. But do we trust him? And many, many United fans now, the majority, and anybody out there, pundits, you name it, the lot, no one trusts him anymore.
And I'm starting to worry about his in-game management. The swapping and changing of the back three. And we actually finished another game with Mason Mount at left wing back.
Well, you just got to look at some of the changes there, how it ended up. You know, Lenny Euro coming on, playing on the left. He plays on the right. That's where he should be. And then you look where Mbeumo ended up. And then you look at Mason Mount. I always said Mason Mount's going to really struggle to get in this side. But to bring him on where he did, it's just absolutely baffling. There is no fluidity to the game. Let's get something straight, though, and let's have a fact here. Manchester United played poorly against Brentford. They started off poorly. But I think the rot had set in. And I go back to Bruno. He told you the players didn't believe in the system because we're getting overrun and nothing is changing against the City side. So poor in-game management that I do really believe the players have given up.
Yeah, they do. And to highlight what you've just mentioned there about Bruno after that Manchester City game, making it publicly clear that they were getting overloaded in midfield with a 4 against Manchester City compared to our 2. And I've got to be honest there, and it might sound brutal to people out there, but I just want to state it beforehand. I genuinely believe Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko are a massive upgrade on Rashford, Garnacho and Højlund. But it took me back to last season, and you would have thought it was Højlund, Rashford and Garnacho who were playing on Saturday because there was no patterns of play, and it looked like them 3 players didn't have a clue or had not been even training with each other before Saturday's game.
Well, you look at them 3 players that started there. It's a massive upgrade on last season. Being in the same position as we are now as last season isn't a coincidence. So whose fault is it? You know, we're all looking for faults and that people, you know, fans and that we blame the player for this or we blame the player for that. But if players don't know what they're doing and the in-game management makes no sense whatsoever, how are you supposed to get a consistent run? I look at it and I say to myself, what's Jason Wilcox had to say to Rúben Amorim? How's he going to report what Rúben Amorim tells him about his in-game management, how he finished that side, how he prepared him and then changed everything and made everyone just scratch their head? What will Sir Jim Ratcliffe make of it? I don't believe he will hold his nerve. He's come out with statements. This is a long-term future, long-term project, shall I say. There's no way that's going to happen because we're in the same position as we are last season. There is no improvement. And to be honest, when he made all them changes and then you look at that 11 what finished the game, made no sense whatsoever. At Fair against Sunderland, I don't think the result matters one little bit, to be honest with you. Whether we win, lose or draw, I think the writing's on the wall. He's not going to change it round. And if you look at the Sunderland, they're just going to come here and just go for United. I think the writing is on the wall.
But what I personally do not like, and it's at the top of my tree, for my bugbears about Rúben Amorim, is his stubbornness in not changing the system. And he's come out with words on more than one occasion and statements that he'll only change his system when he feels it's the right time to do so. For me, it's my football club first. That's where my loyalty's at. And I don't believe he's doing the best things possible to get wins on the board and a consistency. He's doing it where what's best for him, not what's best for the football club. I have no doubt that he's suffering. He's not happy because we're not getting wins, etc. But do the best for this football club and do the best for yourself in trying to keep yourself in this job until we can get other transfer windows down us and these players in that you so desperately want. But for now, just got to change it, mate, and he's not going to do that. So we know the writing is on the wall. It's just a matter of when they're going to pull that plug.
Well, we all see Ruben needs to change things. His refusal makes him vulnerable. The players, they know that he needs to change. We've just mentioned it there, and it's clear they don't believe in him. Only results will save him, some people are saying. I can't see the results changing, to be honest. We are so vulnerable in the 90 minutes football that when players don't know what they're doing and they're playing out of position, how do you get 90 minutes of a team playing in the same way? And when you see £200 million worth of players who have been brought in, who are goal scorers, by the way, there's something fundamentally wrong. We can all see it. And Ruben Amorim refuses to change. And there's only one outcome. And the manager is the one what gets the boot. The players have made it clear by their body language. They don't know what's going on. So for me, time's up.
Some people will say that the team is the mirror image of what the manager is and what he wants on the pitch. And the amount of times you see him recently, cameras panning over to Ruben Amorim, and he's got his head in his hands. He's looking at his shoelaces. He's just looking in total despair. I mean, is that also is that energy, is that vibe also passing off onto the players here? I'm not trying to give the players a get-out clause here. There's still players in this squad, in this starting 11, who are clearly not good enough. But surely he's got to help his team get through these moments in game, and it's like he's not willing to do that.
Everybody out there has been saying, what's he doing on the sideline? You say, get the players through the game. Well, when you start making changes, you're on the sideline, you're explaining things and all that. The players on the pitch don't know what's going on because he's not explaining it. He's got his head down. He's looking so miserable, and he's sending the vibes out to the players that all the players see it. And he's not speaking to the players. He's not galvanising them. That's what you want from a manager. You make one change, fine. Get in there, son. It's like for like changes. But he's not making like for like changes. So he's not been able to get his message across to the team what he wants them to do. So the manager has got a poor record on the sideline of like scratching his head, not sure what to do, and not being able to get his message across. He has got no Champions League football. He's got no midweek interference. And he keeps telling everybody, I've got more time with them. They'll understand the game. They'll be able to do this. They'll be able to do that. They look as though they're worse than last season. And my God, that is a big, big worry. And like I say, Jason Wilcox, what's he making about it? And he's partly to blame. He's partly to blame. So's Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So's Barada.
Look, Barada, I've got huge question marks over. Massive ones. I've mentioned it last season that, you know, for me personally, when they sacked Erik ten Hag, you're looking at around the transition, not just on the pitch, but behind the scenes at Manchester United, loads of things going on. And for me, that was the perfect time to bring in a so-called steady Eddie of a manager, just to get you through that 18 months, that 2-year period of adapting to what current players he's got in the squad to get those wins. And then once you've got the right profile of players in over a course of 2 summer transfer windows, then look at a manager who can then actually bring in a new style of play.
I think this all boils down to Ruben Amorim's refusal to change. You look where he's come from. Yes, he was able to stick to his philosophy there. It's a totally different league to what the Premier League is. And he had to come in and stabilise things. That's what everyone was hoping. Just stabilise it, get your players in. Over time, you'll be able to develop these players, and you'll have players who you've brought in into a system you want to play. But he should have stabilised it, and his refusal to change, it's a joke, really. And that goes down to the people what employed him. They really should have said, come in here, we understand the position, just stabilise this team, make it solid. Let's not get beat. Let's not go gung-go. And over time, we'll back you. We've got a plan. This is what we want to do. But it just seems that this talk of a plan, there was no plan. Just come in, play what you can with players who would give up. And we had like the bomb squad in here. Well, it looks like some people are turning around saying, well, don't look like we've got rid of the bomb squad. Some of these players are down in tools, but these players can't play this system because they don't understand it, because it keeps making so many changes. Like I say, this is the Premier League. You need your results and you need them quickly, because if you lose a few games, you could suddenly find yourself in the mud. Well, I think we're in the mud because October's coming and we've got some difficult games to come and we could be right down there. So for me, I think it's inevitable that he has to change, and his refusal to change will get him sacked. But like I go back to Jason Wilcox and that, some hard conversations have got to be said to Ruben Amorim. What was this for? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? I don't understand it. I'm a football man. By the way, the big fella at the top, Ratcliffe, he wants to understand what you're doing because he can't make head and tail of it, but none of us can. And that's his downfall. We are in the same position as last year. And I don't see how we're going to get out of it. I do not see how we're going to get out of it because of his refusal. And if a manager refuses to change, gotta go.
It looks like Manchester United, to have any chance of winning a game, we've got to play against 10 men. When Ruben Amorim come in, I was totally invested in his ideas and how he wants to play. And we all supported him, the majority of us, even up until after the Europa League final. And we expected improvement this season, not real progress getting into the Champions League, but we wanted to see improvement and consistency there, and we're still not getting it. Like I mentioned before, Cunha and Bumo Sesko, that could have been Højlund, Garnacho and Rashford in disguise over the weekend, and that's not their fault, in my opinion. He's had plenty of time there on the training ground to start getting patterns of play involved and drilled into these players, and it's just like they're looking at each other saying, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing?
Well, you can't know what you're doing when at least 6 players were playing in positions which isn't their natural position. How do you expect a football club to function with a disorganised 11 players on the pitch, not knowing what they're doing? And that's the problem. So for me, clear as day, he either changes it, which I very much doubt he's going to do because he said it. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe, no matter what, he won't hold his nerve. He will have to make the change at some point. When that is, I don't know.
The thing is, you can be the biggest supporter of Ruben Amorim in wanting it to change round and wanting it to work. I still want it to work. But once you take the emotion out of it, you take a step back and you're looking at it realistically with facts on results last season going into this season. It's telling you it's not going to work. So why hasn't the plug been pulled from Ratcliffe? Is this an ego thing? That this was their first choice, their first man in since coming into the football club, and it's gone so badly wrong? Even when you compare it to previous managers down the years at Manchester United, he's got one of the worst, if not the worst, records. So is it an ego thing here?
No.
That they don't want to admit they're wrong?
No. What it is, this is early days in the start of a football season. They were hoping, that word again, hope, they were hoping he would get off to a flying start, okay? So they've had to give him time, okay? And it's not working, and they can clearly see that. Everyone can clearly see that, right? He shouldn't have been in as a manager anyway till this summer. You know, they're talking about him. Yeah, he's got 2 years of a contract. They wanted him to improve, and he should have improved. There's no two ways about it. So they gave him the opportunity, right? They've took away last year. They've dismissed it and said, right, change is coming. We've brought the players in for you. We've done certain things in the background. Now, let's kick on. So the time's here now, and he hasn't kicked on. It's got worse. We've got better players, and it's got worse. So how long does he persist? He's given him the opportunity. He wants Champions League football. We all want that. We all want to compete. Well, we're not going to compete because nothing's changed. So for me, you know, I don't see any bright spots. And we all live on hope. We want this to happen. Hope this happens. Hope that happens. Well, the hope's gone out of Manchester United fans. I've seen the comments. Seen comments from United fans there who've been going for years and years and years, and they're just deflated. They can't see any way out of it. And the reason why they can't see any way out of it, because Ruben Amorim won't change and he won't give himself a chance. Because when you look at that Brentford performance, me and Kieran, we did say the non-negotiable got to go to Brentford and win. And it was as poor can be. So the result against Sunderland means absolutely nothing. But the problem, that Chelsea game, it's actually disguised a good performance.
Yeah, and you do look at the players, and they're definitely not totally blameless, these players here. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just sack a lot of them, restart again with the kids, and I wouldn't disagree if you said that. But at the end of the day, it goes down to man management again, decision making, and it comes from Ruben Amorim actually selecting certain players out there, which I've seen all the comments out there, and it's the usual suspects like Maguire, Luke Shaw, and others. Well, he had Aiden Heaven on the bench, he had Yoro on the bench, he had Diogo Leon on the bench, but chose to actually bring Mason Mount on and then change him back to from a 10 role into the left wing back spot. I mean, decision making again, it comes and boils down to what the manager's also doing in game.
Let's get the Sunderland game, and then we're going to have an interesting fortnight. That's how I see it.
There's plenty to get involved with in the comments section. We thought we'd just do a bit of a brief overview of what's going on from the weekend, what's been going on currently, the whole mood from ourselves and around the club out there as fans. So please get involved in that comment section and smash that like button. Thank you.
Thank you.